Good evening and welcome to the AGN Evening News on this Thursday, April 10th. I'm Judith, and here are tonight's top headlines. In Malaysia, MARC Ratings says the country is in a strong position to negotiate with the US over tariffs, backed by its leadership role in ASEAN and various trade agreements. Internationally, President Trump has paused steep new tariffs after market chaos. But uncertainty remains about what will happen once the 90-day reprieve ends. And in Asia, South Korean opposition leader Lee Jae-myung officially enters the presidential race following the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol. Francis has the full story on these key developments. Over to you, Francis.
Thank you, Judith. We begin in Malaysia, where MARC Ratings has stated that the country holds a favorable position to negotiate with the US on recently imposed tariffs, now temporarily paused. The agency cites Malaysia's role as ASEAN chair and its participation in major trade blocs such as the CPTPP and RCEP as key strengths. Following Trump's 90-day pause on the 24% tariff imposed earlier, Malaysia is expected to engage in constructive negotiations. MARC Ratings also notes that the impact of these tariffs on Malaysia's economy would be manageable, thanks to a strong domestic base. However, if tariffs are reinstated, GDP growth could drop by up to 1 percentage point annually, with adverse effects lingering into 2026. Over to the international front. President Donald Trump's abrupt reversal of sweeping tariffs came just 13 hours after they were implemented, citing market turmoil as a key reason. The move replaces tailored tariffs for nearly 60 countries with a flat 10% rate, excluding China. China, in contrast, faces increased levies of 125% after announcing an 84% retaliatory tariff on US goods. Trump says the pause is a window for countries to strike fairer trade deals, but if no agreements are reached by early July, the tariffs could return. And finally, in Asia, South Korean opposition leader Lee Jae-myung has declared his presidential bid ahead of the June 3rd election, following the impeachment of President Yoon. Lee promises to address inequality and revive economic growth through large-scale investments in technology and talent development. Positioning himself as a pragmatist, Lee stressed that national interest would guide his foreign policy, maintaining strong ties with the US and Japan while focusing on South Korea's priorities. He leads current polls with 34% support. Back to you, Judith.
Thanks, Francis. To recap, Malaysia is gearing up for strategic tariff talks with the US. Global markets breathe a sigh of relief after Trump pauses tariffs, and South Korea prepares for a pivotal election with Lee Jae-myung entering the race. That's all for this evening's edition of AGN News. Stay tuned and follow us on all platforms for the latest global updates. Have a great night.